All right, ladies and gentlemen, just waiting for the stream, making sure everything is good to go, and then we will get into it. All right. We are good. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another Sanity stream with Lucius Coal. Just want to start off with another apology. It seems like I keep doing this, and I feel like I keep letting you guys down. I've been very, very sick over the last week. I'm not sure if I got the cooties. I think I know what you guys, I think you can kind of figure out what that is. And yeah, I've been very, very weak, you know, throwing up and stuff like that. A lot of congestion, loss of taste, loss of smell, you know, everything under the sun. So I'm going to get back into it here. And I guess we'll just see how things go. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who don't know, I have no faith in this federal government. I have no faith in the CDC. I have no faith in anyone of any position of power in terms of this pandemic. It is an absolute catastrophe, and anyone that says otherwise is truly mind-melted and truly lost. This government has done pretty much everything wrong from the very beginning, and anyone who dares to stray away from the socially constructive narrative is immediately gaslit and told that they are crazy. They're told that they want to kill grandma. They're told that they are evil people. They are told that they have to get in line, and if they don't, then they are unpersoned. They have their bank accounts removed. They are removed from the internet. They have their reach throttled. They are astroturfed, and they basically are at a loss. We're talking about saving lives right now, and people are more interested in their own science, and I'm really starting to question that. And just by questioning that, I am basically opening myself up to get banned myself, because apparently you're not allowed to question authority. You know, when people happen to give you a diagnosis and you're a doctor and you go somewhere and maybe you want a second opinion, apparently that's illegal. It's illegal to have a second opinion. It's illegal to look at other science. It's illegal to look at other studies. It's illegal to look at other surveys. It's illegal, guys, to be able to think for yourself. Welcome to America. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who haven't seen, this is not fake. This is not the Babylon Bee, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Wall Street Journal. Ladies and gentlemen, double masks offer significantly better protection. CDC studies find. Upgrading your mask can really make a big difference, according to a study published Wednesday by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Wearing a double mask or fitting a single mask more closely on the face substantially reduces the risk of infection with the Cooties Virus. The study published in the agency's Morbidity and Mortality Weekly Report found. In a series of laboratory experiments using head forms and machines to generate aerosols, the CDC found that wearing a 3-ply cloth mask over a 3-ply medical or surgical mask blocked 92.5% of particles from a cough. Wow. You know what? It took them this long, guys, to figure this out. You know, we've been doing this thing for over a year. We have been doing the whole cooties thing for a year now, and just now, a year later, after mountains of evidence and data, their main way of trying to protect the American people is to tell you to wear a second mask. These are the exact same people who stated originally that you don't need a mask. They're not quite sure if masks work. Then they changed their mind, and then they said, well, you know, actually masks do work. And then they also state that, you know, 90+% of people don't actually wear their mask correctly, or they touch their face and it actually makes them more likely to get sick. But of course, if you say something like that, and this is from the CDC itself, if you say something like that, of course you are ostracized and you are attacked for saying the exact words that they themselves are the ones who are propagating. Welcome to America. Welcome to freedom. Welcome to freedom of thought. Just kidding. Just kidding. This is really where we're at, ladies and gentlemen. We are at a point where the CDC, this is the monolith, this is the big dog, the big enchilada, if you will, ladies and gentlemen. This is the one major breakout that they finally found so that people can finally go back to living normal. 2 masks, ladies and gentlemen. We got it. We solved it, ladies and gentlemen. Time to clean up over here. We are done. Case closed, ladies and gentlemen. These people are ridiculous. They're reckless. They have no idea what they're doing. They won't allow independent people to go in, and it is a government bureaucracy that is purely for the sole purpose of making money off the American people with with a vaccine that isn't even FDA approved in the normal way, but through an emergency use, aka you are the rats. You are the animals. You are the test subjects. I don't know about you guys, but I'm just doing math here. And from some recent numbers that I saw come out, apparently up to 3% of people, according to, just symptoms and stuff like that, could actually lead to death. But hey, guys, trust Pfizer, trust Big Pharma. Screw just getting the cooties, right? Because if you just got it, you have a 99.9% chance of survival. If you're in the upper age bracket, you have a roughly 93 to 95%. It's really based on comorbidities. Are you overweight? Are you diabetic? And this is the thing. Why is there a one-size-fits-all approach to this? This is absolutely absurd. We need to be looking at this through data and through facts. And how you do that is you can take the people that are actually going to possibly die from this, usually older people. The average age of death is 82, by the way, which means that over 50% of the people that have died from this supposed virus are over the age of 82. That doesn't mean don't protect yourself. That doesn't mean, do whatever it is you feel that's right or whatever your doctor says for you to do. I'm not saying that. I'm not a medical expert, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. But to me, it just seems like common sense. But that's kind of hard to come by nowadays. Very, very difficult. For those of you who haven't seen, I'm over here on the Gateway Pundit. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, stands accused of violating federal law by inflating Cooties fatality numbers according to stunning information obtained by National File. CDC illegally inflated Cooties fatality numbers by at least 1,600% as the 2020 presidential election played out, according to a study published by the Public Health Initiative of the Institute for Pure and Applied Knowledge. The study, Cooties Data Collection, Comorbidity and Federal Law, a historical retrospective, was authorized by Henry Ely, Michael McVoy, Daniel Chong, and John Nowinski, Monica Suva, Sandeep Gupta, David White, James Jordan, Daniel Simon, and Paul Anderson. The study is 25 pages long with over 100 citations. However, the main points can be summarized. A major point is that testing inaccuracies and unreliability combined with unscientific procedures and method resulted in demonstratively massive false cooties spikes. The CDC has now legally required red-blooded Americans to wear face masks in all public transportation as globalists try to push the concept of double masking on the populace. Oh my God, guys. This is our freedom being taken away from us, and nobody seems to care. Nobody seems to care. All in the name of safety. All in the name of safety. And to be honest, I had a decent conversation with a reverend, and I think we both came to the conclusion it's not really about safety, it's about comfort. People just want to be able to continue to watch their Netflix. They want to be able to grind their 9-to-5 jobs, if not just have the government pay them to sit on their ass and do nothing. They are totally fine with, just eating up the next piece of pop culture, if you will. And as long as, it doesn't really matter if your freedom's taken away from you. It doesn't matter if you're not allowed to see your family. It doesn't matter if they're pushing propaganda in your face. It doesn't matter if they try to fortify an election. We'll get into that later with Time article. It's over and over again. This is just pure blatant propaganda. We are being propagandized. The American people are getting microdosed a small amount of authoritarianism, corruption, and actually fascism, real fascism. But nobody seems to care. Nobody cares. Nobody's awake. This is America. Just fat, lazy, obese, stupid Neanderthals. That's what Americans are. I would say a majority of Americans are idiots. Fat. It disgusts me. It disgusts me when I look at this nation. We are a bunch of soft, doughboy, loser cucks, and we deserve everything we're getting right now because nobody wants to fight for what's right. No one. This country is a total farce. The people that are running the show, we deserve this. Because people are so stupid to drink up this drivel of propaganda, hook, line, and sinker. It is a tragedy what is happening to this great country. It is an utter tragedy. Now, they're talking about violence. They're talking about insurrection. They're talking about all of these evil Trump supporters. They're talking about all of us magatards, right? And how violent we are. The American government is lecturing us, the people that kill millions of Muslims, that kill millions of women and children. They're going to lecture the American people. They're going to lecture us about violence. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Let's take a look at the absolute destruction, guys. The House chambers on January 6th. Ladies and gentlemen, I got to tell you, this really makes me cry when I see what all of these Trump supporters did. They just went into the Capitol. Look at this, guys. Look at this. Oh my God, it's so scary. Oh my God. Please. I'm so scared. Oh my God. This was literally less than 2 hours after they breached the building. Look how scary this is, guys. So scary that Ashley Babbitt loses her life, gets shot by some pig, and the House just all gets back in there and continues along with the process, even after. But guys, it was such a big destruction after an entire year of Black Lives Matter and Antifa destroying communities, and no one cares. No one bats an eye. No one. The media gaslights you, saying that this is a fight for racial justice. Who cares about the cooties then? Doesn't matter at that point, ladies and gentlemen. This is just part of the game, guys. And then all of a sudden, some people go into the chambers. Nothing is burned. Nothing is looted. There's no arson. There's no death and destruction. There's no murder. David Dorn. Nothing. Oh, no, wait, there was murder. A bunch of Trump supporters were killed. That's right. That's right. We're the violent ones. They are mad that they were the ones that actually got the brunt of the American people. They are angry because of that. They don't care about us. They only care that it happened to them. The elite, wonderful politicians with an 18% congressional approval rating are going to lecture us, the American people, who have been fighting for an entire year of lockdowns, tyranny, death, destruction, and total ludicrous propaganda. And then they're going to tell us that we are somehow domestic terrorists. Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. Unbelievable. The gaslighting is insane. It is insane. And people's minds, a Microsoft study, I believe it was 10 years ago, come to find out that the average citizen has the selective focus, the attention span of less than a goldfish. 8 seconds. That's how stupid people are. That's what TikTok's doing. That's what YouTube's doing. That's what entertainment is doing. It is keeping us asleep so that these elites can continue on selling us out, selling out our children and grandchildren, putting their boot on our neck, and then asking us to thank them for it. That's what they are. Corrupt. Corrupt. Prepare for more war. Prepare, and I'm not even saying, violence, because I can't say violence. Because YouTube apparently says I'm supporting criminal organizations. Does Google, by supporting the American government, bombing women and children in the Middle East, does that mean that they themselves are supporting a criminal organization? Huh. Interesting when the shoe's on the other foot. But of course, hypocrisy, I mean, it's been beaten into the ground at this point. We all know that this isn't a fair game. It never will be. Which is why they want us to make our own hosts. They want us to make our own lawyer groups. They want us to make our own servers. They want to have us make our own websites. They want us to make everything. Banks for us, everything. Everything's going to be separate. Ben Shapiro was right. When I first heard him say that, and I thought it was kind of ironic, he said, look, and believe me, I am not a fan of Ben Shapiro. He's a neocon through and through, but the man does make some decent points at times. And one of them that I found quite knowledgeable was actually when he stated that people are going to be shopping at certain places based on their political ideology. The left has gone so woke, so radical, and so incestuous. They're evil. They're dumb and they're evil, which is just two terrible ways of going about the world. They are a cult, and anyone who dares defy their cult, they will attack. It's a joke. It is a joke. With everything going on with the impeachment, guys, I think a lot of the things that are happening right now could have been easily swept under the rug if the FBI actually did their job. But the deep state has no qualms about gaslighting the American public into thinking that Trump supporters are somehow domestic terrorists when they wouldn't allow a single court in all the land to take a look at the evidence in terms of the election. Not a single court. And they are going to gaslight you into thinking that that actually happened when it did not. Every single one was either put down on standing or latches, meaning it had already happened after the fact, and therefore you weren't going to be able to do it because you didn't have standing, or they would do it on latches, meaning that it hadn't happened to you yet, meaning some sort of fraud hadn't happened to you yet, and therefore you weren't allowed to sue. So if you sue before, they say latches. If you sue after, they say standing. So welcome to America. There's no justice system. The entire point of the judiciary is to be a stopgap on the executive branch. So basically, if the executive branch executes in such a way that is to go against the Constitution, which is basically a rag at this point. I don't even know why people say the word Constitution. It's been tread on for years now, for hundreds of years, if ever, right? It's just a rag at this point, a living, breathing document. Shove it. Shove it. The Constitution is dead. These politicians don't care about it. They lie. They put their hand up. They swear an oath, and then they do whatever the hell they want. That's what happens in America. Money talks. The dollar talks. Actually, Bitcoin talks. Pretty much anything in terms of value talks, but not the American people. The American people apparently are super radical. But if the FBI actually did their job, if the FBI started investigating crimes and arresting actual criminals, Hillary Clinton, they could de-radicalize Trumpers overnight. But they won't, because they want violence. They want violence, which is why they're pushing this Patriot Act 2.0. This is what they're doing. This is all by design. You know, they say they want unity. They don't want unity. They want unity in terms of how much you are willing to bend the knee to their totalitarian and tyranny and absolute fascist ideology. When you have big government, big corporations, big tech, all working in tandem, whether it be through Oracle and the FBI and the CIA, whether it be through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, the whole nine yards, and where you're looking at Amazon services and Jeff Bezos working out with the CIA for about, hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars. I mean, to me, it's just one big game, right? Was George Carlin who said it best? It's one big club, and you ain't in it, and we're not in it. But we're gonna keep fighting back, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna, at the very least, be a gnat, a proverbial blood-sucking, annoying thing that's just something called the American people. I know. We're so evil. We're so dogmatic. We want families. We want people to respect this country. We want to have borders. We want to have a free and fair nation. We want to be able to have upward mobility. We want billionaires and the government not working in tandem as a fascist state. I know, guys. It's some crazy stuff. God, it's super radical. God, we are so out of touch. Unbelievable. Wow. 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 We don't want to look at people through the lens of race. We want to look at people as individuals. We don't believe in this utter garbage and woke shit. But apparently we're the evil ones. We listened to Martin Luther King and actually listened to what he said. They use Martin Luther King, don't listen to what he said at all, and then use mental platitudes and mental gymnastics in order to get to their desired outcome. They're monsters. They're evil. They really are. They are evil. They want to destroy the nuclear family. And you think in the black community, when only 25% of households actually have a man in the house, and you wonder why the black community has such a violence problem? Little do you know that it is actually men who teach empathy, because men understand the damage and the destruction they can cause to society when they freak out and lash out. But nobody wants to talk about that because that's too hard of a discussion, because somehow it's racist to want all Americans of all colors and all creeds to thrive. These people are evil. They are evil. Speaking of evil, for those of you who haven't seen, Mavericks forced to reverse ban after NBA orders teams to play National Anthem. For those of you who don't know, the Super Bowl had the lowest ratings since 1969, which, I mean, it really does feel like a huge backlash from many Americans. Americans who see all of this woke-topia stuff absolutely destroying this country. The French have actually come out. Macron, who is a Rothschild banker, so I don't trust him as far as I can throw him, but his rhetoric has changed quite a bit. I don't believe he'll actually act on it. He'll probably just use it as a means to get reelected and then just throw it to the wayside once he's actually into office, like most politicians do. But, I mean, the rhetoric is changing. They're saying that the American left is destroying society. Who would have thought? Who would have thought when you don't have men and women marry? Who would have thought when you don't give people a reason to live like family or God? Who knew that when you remove these things from society, when you remove gender, when you remove all of these labels and how people actually view the world, and you just have some amalgamation of, spaghetti or something, right? When you put that into the ether and you somehow think that within chaos, there's somehow going to be some form of order, that is when you are wrong. I'm not for trying to tell somebody who they are or what they should value or what direction they think they should go in their own lives. But at the end of the day, most people are very, very simple. They want a roof over their head. They want foods in their stomachs. They want good connections, great friendships, lovers, friends, the whole 9 yards, guys. It's really simple. Give people meaning, give people a job that's worth striving for, give people family, give people tradition, give people religion, give people these types of things. You can even base it on logic if you're not religious, and you will have a very good society. When you break down all barriers, what you think you're doing is truth. What you think you're doing is creating peace, but what you're actually doing is inviting in the very incestuous, man, I'm having trouble with that word today, incestuous nature of philosophers and armchair quarterbacks who only desire power, wealth, fame, and fortune. And when you allow the civilization to fall to a bunch of oligarchs and tyrants because they have no traditions and they have no unifying message, then the people will forever be divided. And the only people that actually get something from that are the people at the top. The bankers, the multinational corporations, all of these businesses like Apple and Nike and Disney, who are coming at us with all of this woke stuff, saying how evil we are, that we aren't embracing diversity, that we are somehow these monsters, are the same people that have sweatshops of actual slaves all over the world. And then they're going to lecture us about how evil we are. These people are disgusting. It's a joke. It's a joke. And that's the thing with the national anthem. I'm actually not a huge fan of the Pledge of Allegiance. After listening to Tom Woods a couple times about the issue, for those of you who haven't seen it, it's pretty decent, rather than having an allegiance to the country. But I do like the national anthem. In order to have a country, you have to have an approved, among the people, there has to be an approved set of rules. There has to be an approved set of laws, of culture. You can actually come in, people talk about multiculturalism, and that doesn't work. Multiculturalism can work in one context and one context only. That context is this. There's a unifying force of nationalism or something, right? God, religion, whatever, philosophy, whatever, make your pick, that everyone agrees to, right? There's an overarching purpose that everyone agrees to. And then underneath that, maybe there's another culture within that, right? But in terms of multiculturalism, as in a bunch of competing cultures all in the same area, not agreeing on a set base standard in terms of rules, then you're going to have chaos. You're going to have death. You're going to have war. It's human nature. And you're not going, just because we've been awakened, quote unquote, not enough people in my opinion, in the last 300 years, doesn't mean that war and famine and death and natural evolution just all of a sudden stops. It doesn't. Humans are humans. People can be evil. People can be good. And when you give people and you remove their sense of meaning, you're going to create chaos and you're going to see the dark side of humanity. And that's just a fact. In terms of the destruction of this nation, it's kind of funny watching feminism come full circle. It really is. It really is insane. Calling all mediocre males. This is obviously a play. For those of you who haven't seen, there's an executive order going around basically making it so that men, former men, right, are going to be able to compete in women's sports. Women's medals, records, scholarships, sponsorships are now up for grabs. Live your dream by ruining theirs. So basically, just get jacked, get freaking swole out of your mind, say that you're a woman, go into a sport, absolutely destroy the women's sport, and eventually there'll be no more women's sports. So I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting because they're trying to make this federal law. They're going to try to make this illegal to try to bar people from actually pushing back against this. And what's kind of weird is the way the country was originally set up was that the federal government was, the idea was it was going to be like a formulation of kind of like a baseline in terms of laws that every state kind of agrees with. And then within each state, they could have laws within themselves. And the federal government wasn't allowed to go in and try to overrule the states. But what ended up happening over time was it actually ended up becoming opposite. Whereas the federal government has the main jurisdiction, and then the state has secondary jurisdiction, whereas federal law would supersede state law. It wasn't always like that, just for those of you who don't know. And this is just the end of a culture. This is the end of a nation. This is the fall of Rome. This is what we're witnessing right now. We are witnessing the end of a civilization. We are witnessing the end of America. We are witnessing the end of this republic. Because they're destroying all traditions. They're destroying religion. They're destroying women's sports. They're destroying, cultural figures. They say they hate this place. They don't want any walls. They don't want any borders. They call anyone that doesn't agree with them a domestic terrorist. So it's like, this country sucks. This country seriously sucks. And it blows my mind that 80 million, now I don't believe this, but there were a huge amount of people that actually went out there and voted for Joe Biden. And it blows my mind just how stupid these people are. Trump has his faults. A ton. The man is a war criminal. What he actually did in terms of Yemen is absolutely disgusting. He increased his drone warfare. He didn't do another war. He should have done a lot more. He shouldn't have surrounded himself with deep state insiders thinking that he was going to be able to, charismatically change the way they view the world. They don't. They care about power. That's it. So he definitely has his faults as well. But what's going on in terms of Biden is just accelerationism at the nth degree. Now, this was actually a couple days ago, but I figured I would just touch it briefly. This is insane. I mean, like, this is Time magazine. This is insane. I am so mind blown that they printed this. This is nuts. For those of you who haven't seen, a second odd thing happened amid Trump's attempts to reverse the result. Corporate America turned on him. Hundreds of major business leaders, many of whom had backed Trump's candidacy and supported his policies, called on him to concede. To the president, something felt amiss. It was all very, very strange, Trump said on December 2nd. Within days after the election, we witnessed an orchestrated effort to anoint the winner, even while many key states were still being counted. In a way, Trump was right. There was a conspiracy unfolding behind the scenes, one that both curtailed the protests and coordinated the resistance from CEOs. Both surprises were the result of an informal alliance between left-wing activists and business titans. The pact was formalized in a terse, little-noticed joint statement of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and AFL-CIO published on Election Day. Both sides would come to see it as a sort of implicit bargain inspired by the summer's massive, sometimes destructive racial justice protests. No crap. In which the forces of labor came together with the forces of capital to keep the peace and oppose Trump's assault on democracy. I won't go through the whole thing, guys. I'm sure you've heard it from a couple other commentators, but holy crap. They are talking about big business working in tandem with activists, poll workers, this shadow government, a cabal. What was it? What was the word? A cabal of, guys, I'm so shook. I'm triggered. I am triggered right now. I cannot believe they posted this. This is literally them admitting to fascism. They are admitting they combined themselves, the government and big business titans, big business coming together, working together. Fascism, actual fascism, not this Antifa crap where everything they say is fascist. It's unbelievable. You've got to check out the article. Secret 2020 Election Campaign by Time freaking Magazine. Unreal. All right. Let's wrap up things here, ladies and gentlemen. I am not a financial analyst. Take everything I say with a grain of salt. This is not legal advice. But for those of you who haven't seen, apparently Bitcoin is going through the freaking roof. I've been saying it for months. I've been saying it for a while. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have a few dollars to spare, never put any money in that you can't lose. But right now, in terms of the dollar, it is out of control. They are printing it in mass. I believe 40% of the U.S. notes that were printed were from last year alone. They are printing money like crazy. This is Keynesian economics on steroids. So, yeah, get in while the going's hot, guys. If you check down the links down in the bottom below, and you click any of those links, if you happen to use Coinbase and you purchase $100 worth of crypto, I receive $10, you receive $10. That's kind of cool. I also have a Bitcoin wallet down below if you want to donate to the channel. I'm looking to get another monitor so I can make this streaming a little bit better, as well as so I can stand up and have this green screen and just give you guys a better show overall. So if you're interested in that, check out that at the bottom below. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we're looking at 45K on Bitcoin right now. I got into it when it was at about 32. So again, you know, I didn't get in super early. I wish I did back when it was like a few pennies or $1. That would be insane right now. But better late than never. Never late is better. But hey, I got a little bit of Bitcoin and a little bit of Ethereum. Something to look at. Do your own research. I believe decentralized finance is the future because governments print out of control. They are starting all of these wars. They are megalomaniacs. They don't care about us. So protect your investment because the dollar is not going to have its buying power pretty soon here. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, if you like this type of content, my name is Lucius Coal. Go down below, like, subscribe, share, and of course, leave a comment if you think I deserve it. The Coal Factory and the Coal Train on our way to 1,000 Patriots strong. Thanks to people like you watching content like this. We'll see you guys in the next one. I love ya. Peace. Coal Train. Choo-choo! Hit the gym, boys. Call your mother and father. Tell them you love them. And I'll see you guys in the next one.